Hello, my friends, hello. And so I filmed the video I'm about to show you this morning. And since this morning, there's been some news that we have all heard on BookTube from Lee Durfee. The great booktuber Lee Durfee, who is a very successful author. He has his books published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. And when I made this video, I guess because he is successful, a successful author who's published by a major press, I guess I didn't think to add him to this video, and I should have. But since I filmed this video this morning, he made a video where he talks about a condition that he has called retinal vein occlusion, which is a condition my mother-in-law has, and it's serious. And so basically what happens with this condition is if you get it, it's a stroke in your eye, which causes damage, and over time, it will make you lose your vision in that eye. So you'll go blind in that eye over time. And that is one reason that he stopped painting. He was also a great painter. I mean, his paintings are amazing. But he had to stop painting because of this condition. Well, apparently, just over the weekend, the same thing happened to his other eye, which is rare. It's rare for this to happen. So now, there is the possibility that over time, he will lose vision in both eyes, which is terrible news. And he was very upset in his video, of course. And it's heartbreaking, and I felt like, you know, when something like this happens, you want to do something, and in this case, you know, there's nothing to do. This is an incurable disease. There's a treatment for it, but trust me, this treatment is no joke. So it's not a great situation that Lee Durfee has to face. And I was thinking, man, what can I do? And there's nothing to do, but one thing I can do is read his books. He has written 3 books. The first one is The Forgetting Moon, an epic fantasy novel, part 1 of the 5 Warrior Angels trilogy, which I have a physical copy of, but of course when I looked for it, I couldn't find it because I put it somewhere. Who knows where I put it, but I do have it, but I'm going to get an ebook version of it as well because, you know, what the hell? So The Forgetting Moon is the first book in this series. The second book is The Blackest Heart. And coming November 29th, I believe, is The Lonesome Crown, which will be the concluding volume of this series. So I've had The Forgetting Moon for a while, and I haven't read it even though I've heard great things about it. Everybody says how great this book is. The only reason I haven't read it is because it's long. And I always have all of these reading plans and events and things, which I talk a little bit about in the video I'm about to show you. And so that's the only reason, is because, like, how am I going to fit it in? But now I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to, after the book I'm currently reading, because I can't DNF anything because I'm crazy. After the book I'm currently reading is finished, which should only be a couple days, I'm going to be reading The Forgetting Moon, and then moving on to The Blackest Heart. And then when Lonesome Crown comes out, I will read that. Because that's all I can do, is read his books and talk about his books with you, and hope that I can interest you in picking up Lee Durfee's books. Because, like I said, from what I hear, they're fantastic. So I'm wishing Brian all the luck in the world. I'm really pulling for you, Brian. And I'm looking forward to finally reading The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart and The Lonesome Crown. And I don't care how long it takes. All my other plans out the window. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be reading next after the book I'm reading now. And like I said, good luck, Brian. And now on to the video. Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to stately Vaughn Manor. And today we're going to be talking about books written by booktubers that, well, I want to read and probably should have read by now. These are books, some of them that have been sitting around the manor for a while, and I should have read them. I think there's a couple reasons I haven't. One is that I've just gotten involved in too many BookTube reading events. I realize this now. Every month there's a new BookTube reading event, probably several, and I've just done too many of them. I realize that now, and it's shifted my focus away from some other books that I really want to get to. So after next month, I'm going to cool it on the reading events. No more reading events for a while I focus on some other books I really want to get to, including these. I should have prioritized these more than I have, so I'm going to try to make up for that now, because I figure, you know, if you go to all the trouble to write a book, you're going to want people to read your book. And so I want to do my small part to, you know, just let you folks know about these books, just in case you're interested in reading them. Now, all of these books were written by people who are on BookTube. I will link their channels down below in the description box. So, you know, go check them out. They're all awesome. So let's talk about the books. I've got 6 books here, and let's talk about them. The first book I want to talk about is this one. This one I really want to read. I wanted to read this actually since I've gotten it, but for some reason I haven't. This is Across the Wire by Stella Talario. And this is her right there. She's got a BookTube channel called It's Too Late to Apologize. It's fantastic. She's super smart, and she doesn't just do reviews. I mean, she does detailed analysis of books that are always fascinating to listen to. So yeah, her channel is fantastic. And this book sounds really good. This seems to be a kind of science fiction action type of thing, I think. I think that's what this is. I read a little bit of the beginning, and it makes you want to keep reading it. So yeah, definitely this is one that I really want to get to soon. What I'm thinking is that I'm going to try to get to one of these a month. You know, I figure it'd be cool to do or to read one book by a booktuber every month and talk about it. That'd be fun. That would be a fun thing. And I'm going to start off with these books, starting with Across the Wire by Stella Talario. It's Too Late to Apologize. Check out that channel. And if you're interested in science fiction, action-y kind of stuff, well, she wrote this book. Here it is, Across the Wire. I need to read that. Also, this is the second book I need to read that I'll be talking about. This is by Charles McGarry, better known to us on BookTube as Bookish Chas. This is Talaro's Guest by Charles McGarry. This is obviously a fantasy book, which I've heard good things about. I think David's Book Reviews gave this a good review. So it's been around a while and people have read it, but you know, you always want more people to read your books. So Talaro's Guest, I'm going to be reading this one. I've actually wanted to read this one for a while. It looks pretty good. Fantasy story. And I think it's pretty much a fantasy which takes place in this fantasy world that he has invented. I don't know if this is part of a series or if he's writing more in this world. I have no idea. Let me know if you know. But I do know that I definitely want to get to this and that I've heard it's good. So there you go. Bookish Chas. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should. He talks mostly about fantasy and that kind of thing, but he talks about other things as well. Great channel. You should check it out. So yeah, Talaro's Guest. Need to get to that. Now this next book is a pretty highly regarded book, and she's written quite a few books. This is Margaret Pinard. This is The Keening. This is the first book of Remnants. This is book 1 of Remnants, which I think is a trilogy of books. And she's written a few books. Margaret Pinard, and I've heard great things about her books. I've heard great things about this book. This is an historical novel, and I haven't read enough of historical fiction in a while. At least I haven't read enough historical fiction that isn't just, you know, trashy. So I definitely want to read this, and I have wanted to read it for a while because I hear great things about this book and about Margaret Pinard's writing. She does have a channel. Go check her out. Link it down below. The Keening. It's supposed to be really, really good. And again, this is one of those books that have just been hanging out in my library here, and I haven't gotten into it, so I will, I promise. And then I'll talk about it after I read it. So this next book was sent to me very kindly by the author. It was written by Gareth Howells, and this book is Out Among the Ice Beacons. Gareth Howells has the channel Books, Songs, and Other Magic, which is an absolutely wonderful channel. I highly recommend it. I've been watching him for a long, long time. I think I was already on BookTube when I started watching him, but I don't remember because I've been watching him that long. However long he's been on, I've been talking about books, I've probably been watching him. But this is a science fiction novel, Out Among the Ice Beacons. I think Gareth has written a couple of novels and a collection of short stories, I think. This will be the first book that I've read from him when I read it. Out Among the Ice Beacons. So yeah, science fiction, I like it. Check out Gareth on Books, Songs, and Other Magic. He wrote this book that I'm going to read. It's cool, I'm betting. So yeah, Out Among the Ice Beacons. So there you go. So this next one hasn't been hanging out here very long. I got it yesterday, this book. But this is from a BookTube channel, a brand new one called Books Rising with Bart J. Gilbertson. Bart J. Gilbertson, the author of this book. This is Deathbed and Breakfast, a Pukat sisters mystery. So this, I think, is the kind of book I never ever read. This, I think, is a cozy mystery. I think that's what this is. I think it's a cozy mystery. I didn't even know cozy mysteries existed. I didn't know what they were until I got on BookTube. I had literally never heard that term. But it's a real thing. Just ask Gina Stanier. She's got a whole channel that talks about that kind of stuff. And Bart just started his own BookTube channel. He seems to read a lot of different things. Fantasy, other things. So it's interesting that he wrote a cozy mystery, and I will read it, you know, even though it's not my kind of thing, because, you know, Bart wrote it, and it might be really, really good. Who knows? It probably is. Deathbed and Breakfast, a Pukat's Sisters mystery. So yeah, I'll read that by Bart J. Gilbertson. It's his first novel, I think. I think this was his first book. So, you know, I'll read that. I'll talk about it after I read it. Now this next one I'm positively embarrassed I haven't read. This was written by a pretty good friend of mine, David Wiley. This is Monster Huntress by David Wiley. I did read another book by David Wiley, A Merchant in Orient and Other Stories, which was a collection of short stories that had a couple stories featuring this character, Monster Huntress. And I think the stories in that book take place after this. I think that's when she's older. This is a young huntress novel. She's young. She's the young huntress, Monster Huntress. And this takes place in a fantasy world about exactly what it says. It's a monster huntress. I really enjoyed the short stories he wrote about this character. He also wrote a poem about this character, which was pretty good. So I read that stuff, and I'm surprised at myself that I haven't read this yet, because I've been intending to read this for months. This was actually previously published a number of years ago. It went out of print, and now it's back. It's back from David Wiley, who has a BookTube channel called David Wiley. This is young David right there. You should go and check out his channel. If you watch me, there's a pretty good chance you've watched David, but if not, go check out David's channel. He is the author of Monster Huntress, which I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good already, just because I've read his other stuff. So Monster Huntress, yeah. So all of those books I'm going to read. And if you would do me a favor, because I know a lot of booktubers write books, and a lot of these books I probably haven't heard of. And if you have recommendations, if you know a booktuber who's written a book and you think I should read it, do me a favor and put the title and the author down in the description box in the comments, just letting me know about it so that I can check it out and talk about it here on my dopey channel. Okay, guys, that's all I have to say today. Catch me tomorrow when I talk about comic books on Epic Comic Book Wednesday. Okay, guys, I will see you next time.